I have a terrible confession to make. I have experience on football Twitter. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Beyond this revelation, how can you possibly take my opinion seriously? But hold on a moment. I'll redeem myself, I promise. The reason I bring this up is because today I want to take a look at one of the most widely debated topics in the history of football Twitter. Because whenever there's a break in club football, this topic returns again and again, and it probably will continue to do that until the end of time. Thierry Henry or Didier Drogba? The Frenchman or the Ivorian? The Invincible or the man that brought home the big ears? For those who don't know, Henry and Drogba are widely considered to be two of the greatest strikers in Premier League history. Today, I want to try and deconstruct some popular yet disrespectful narratives surrounding their playing careers in the hopes that we can talk about these players with more respect and reverence for their incredible achievements in the future. Since he's my channel icon, I decided it would be fairest for me to look at the narrative surrounding Henry first. The most popular narrative by far about Thierry Henry pertains to his record in finals. A popular statistic has circled around Twitter a number of times, that being his 0 goals in 9 finals statistic. From what I could find, this appears to stem from a troll Twitter thread back in 2019 attempting to quote-unquote expose Henry for lacking clutch. To begin with, I want to rectify this since the stat itself is false. Henry scored the golden goal winner in the 2003 Confederations Cup final for a second-string France side that desperately needed him. But even if we account for that, that's still only what, 1 goal in 10 finals? Surely someone with that kind of record can't be considered clutch at all. Well, not exactly. For instance, in the 2003 FA Cup final, Henry was awarded man of the match despite failing to score. And while his overall performance in the 2006 Champions League final wasn't great, his set-piece delivery for Sol Campbell's header was perfect, and his performance was inevitably stifled by Arsenal playing with 10 men for almost the full 90. But all of these arguments that we're discussing are based around the idea that you can only be clutch if you're scoring in finals. The fact remains that without Thierry Henry's presence and goal scoring, Arsenal don't get anywhere close to becoming invincibles in 2004. Whatever your opinions on that side are, there's no question that it remains one of the greatest achievements in the history of English football, and that Henry's presence is integral to that achievement. He's a legend in the game for a reason, and don't let anyone else tell you differently. So with all that said, I'll end the segment here with an interesting statistic. In addition to his multiple league titles and Golden Boot winning seasons, Thierry Henry is 4th place on the list of the players with the most match-winning goals in Premier League history. All the players ahead of him on that list have played 14 or more seasons in the Premier League. Excluding his 4-match loan in 2012, Henry played only 8 seasons, and tells them in match winners by only single digits. Ratio-wise, we can get a decent impression of how he stacks up as well. Not bad for a guy who isn't clutch, right? And with those misconceptions dispatched, we can start talking about Didier Drogba now, one of the greatest legends in Premier League history, and yet possibly one of the most underrated players in modern-day football discourse. As absurd as it sounds on paper, I've heard arguments on Twitter that Drogba was in any way a bad striker because of some poor outputs in single seasons on paper. Here's the truth. Drogba scored in the Premier League at a rate of a goal every 168 minutes across his career. If we go by minutes per contribution, that number suddenly becomes 1 per 114 minutes. It may not be in the Thierry Henry ballpark, but don't think this isn't an elite number. That's more than Ruud van Nistelrooy managed at Manchester United, scoring 20 or more goals in 4 out of his 5 league campaigns. Drogba was consistently a demon in front of goal whenever he played, and the stats back this up. Even in his worst seasons, his stats still hold up. Ignoring the 2011-12 season when Drogba was injury-riddled and ageing, his worst season output-wise was his 2008-09 season where he was only able to register 5 goals and 4 assists in 24 games. However, a goal contribution every 172 minutes is still significantly better than what most Premier League strikers can manage nowadays, and that's at his absolute worst. At his absolute best, in the 2009-10 season, Drogba managed to record 29 goals and 10 assists in a single season as Chelsea won the league. That's a goal contribution every 71 minutes, numbers that eclipse even the likes of Sergio Aguero and Harry Kane at their respective best. And there's one more tidbit that I haven't mentioned so far. Unlike all of these players, Drogba was not his club's first choice penalty taker, and scored far fewer penalties than virtually any striker in the ballpark of how prolific he was. So before you talk about Drogba's perceived output issues, ask yourself, can my club striker outdo Drogba's best? How about his career average? Can my club striker even outdo Didier Drogba's worst Premier League season? And if the answer to any of those questions is no, then maybe put a little bit of respect at the feet of a true legend of the game, and Chelsea's King of Wembley. Hope you enjoyed, and be sure to smash like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. My hope is that these videos are informative enough to change the discourse around these players positively, but who knows. For now, this has been Lopter14. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening.